Alright guys, welcome back to another Opera Omnia video where we're gonna go over what Core got with his changes and with his FR ability now that he is in JP. With his C90, basically we're just going to cover everything that he got. I'm going to talk about a little bit about why I think Core is an excellent character now in JP, and why, for those who are, who like to plan out their pulls and whatnot, for those who are trying to plan out their FR pulls, why I think Core is actually a really good pickup to pick up out of the FR weapons that are currently out in the game. So as always, if you guys do enjoy the video, consider liking the video and subscribing for future Opera Omnia content. Let me know what you guys think about Core, either before or after I'm done talking about him. And one thing that I do want to know is that this gameplay, the team setup that I have here, is specifically for Core's FR gauge to go up, because you have Gladio and you have Yang. Now Yang does off turn damage whenever the enemy attacks, and then Gladio of course has his counters whenever the enemy attacks as well. And then depending on which character you decided to throw Core's buff on, that is more additional attacks. And the thing is though, like, it doesn't just increase by one character, it increases by every single follow-up attack, or I guess like off-turn attack that each of these characters does. So like if all three of them attack, guess what? That is a 15% increase altogether, 5% by themselves, that gets increased in the FR gauge. So once you notice that the FR gauge is active, place close attention to the gameplay and look at how easily this FR gauge can go up just because of this team comp that I got here. Now I went to this specific stage because Ultimecia does get multiple turns after her limit break bar goes off. So that means there's going to be more off turn damage that I'm going to be dealing with all three, or two or three, depending on like who is attacking who. Characters are going to be doing. So yeah, definitely make sure to check out what's going on with that. So with Core, now that he is at C90 and whatnot, so the rework that he got to his skill 1, basically they made it so that he got an increase in brave potency per hit, and he got an additional HP attack in it, and it now allows for 150% stolen max brave overflow. His skill 2, which is the one that does AoE damage, got an additional HP dump as well, with 2 more brave hits, now being 4, and the brave potency also got increased with that as well. His LD actually got a good amount of stuff. So his LD ability now deals 4 HP dumps altogether. The first 2 HP dumps, brave hit wise, now deal or is now single target attacks, but the last 2 HP dumps, the brave hits, are AoE brave hits. So that's very nice because it'll help out in trying to shave off any type of brave that more than one enemy has on the enemy field, or I guess like just the fight in general, right? And he does increase his brave by 30% of the HP damage dealt after each attack except for the last. Now the overhead did get some changes to it as well. So in the overhead previously, let me just pull that up real quickly for you guys so you know exactly what I'm talking about. The overhead did provide some party auras. It provided attack up, max brave up, stolen max brave overflow up, and then brave damage up and HP damage up. And previously it was at 10 stacks, or pretty much that's where global stands right now. But on the JP side, they lowered his overhead to 7, which is really good because you get access to the Reaper's Gail attack, the one that switches over from HP attack to that one after the overhead reaches max. But aside from that, the overhead now adds a party HP regen by 10% of their max HP, which is really nice, and it adds more versatility with Core. Also, they added more brave damage up and HP damage up, so now the party is receiving a 20% brave damage up and an HP damage up, 20% HP damage up, which is really nice. That's more on top of what of what your other characters may or may not be adding to the team comp altogether. So that's really good. That's just extra stuff that he is bringing to the team, aside from all of the attacks that he is doing, the off-turn damage, you know, the damage that he deals before the enemy attacks, after the person that has the buff that he grants to said person, you know, that attack included as well. Like, Core has multiple ways of dealing damage, and especially when the FR gauge is active, if you have the buff on the right character that the enemies attack, that's just damage on damage on damage on damage that Core is dealing, making him so much better on the JP side. Now, with his Reaper's Gale attack, so his Reaper Gale's attack, once it reaches 7 stacks, is now a 4-hit AoE melee Brave plus an AoE HP attack 3 times with a Brave potency of 100% per hit, and he does increase the Brave gain to 30% of the HP damage dealt after each attack. Now, the Reaper's Gale, we pretty much know that attack is will make you deal the rainbow numbers. So it'll deal the Brave cap damage that Core is actually able to deal with that Reaper's Gale attack. So it's really nice. The other thing that I wanted to mention was the additional attacks from Core. So now those additional attacks that he deals becomes a 4-hit AoE melee Brave plus an AoE HP attack 2 times, and he does increase his Brave by 30% of the HP damage dealt after each attack. Previously, he was unable to be able to gain any Brave, well, just like in general, after his one single attack from back for global players, for like the global version of him right now. So to have that is really nice, because you already know that, hey, like, he's not gonna, you know, start from the bottom and work his way up to whatever HP damage. Like, he's already starting off with a good amount of Brave. Now his EX ability, let me see if I can find this real quick. So his EX ability, the recast speed is still the same, but he did gain additional Brave hits, and it now deals 3 HP dumps together with that deals 4 HP damage, which is really good. When it comes to the buff that he grants himself, the one of Lucius 3, now it lasts for 8 actions, and it now gives him a 40% attack and max Brave up, an 80% Brave damage reduction up, and a 20% HP damage reduction up, which I believe is what it was before previously, if I'm not mistaken, on the global side. Let me double check just to make sure. Yeah, so it's still pretty much the same thing. That has not changed at all, aside from the additional HP dumps that he now deals. His C65, they gave him, or they extended it by 2 turns, so now it is 7 turns, and it now gives the party more attack up, and now adds party Brave damage cap up by 20%. Now, when it comes to his FR gauge, basically the way to increase it is that whenever a character does a follow-up attack outside of their own turn, the HP damage bonus goes up by 5%. Then, when a turn passes with a character dealing a Brave hit going beyond 9,999, the HP damage bonus goes up by 40%. Also, while the gauge is active, the party does gain a 30% Brave damage up and a 50% Brave and HP damage reduction. So that is also going to help out your teammates, because, you know, Core was only able to reduce the amount of damage that he dealt to himself of the enemy attack, but now he is also going to be helping out the team. So, you know, putting Core in fights or in team comps where you know that either the enemy is going to be jumping up in the turn order, or if they're going to be attacking you constantly, you know, having Core in there with like maybe a tank, or maybe just like other units like a support that provides great healing, or just like your DPS units, whatever it is that you want to do, at least you know that whatever Brave and HP damage that the enemy is going to be dealing onto you will get reduced, which is good. It's not bad. It's a nice add-on to what Core is offering now. Now, to himself, you do have a certain chance that there was no percentage provided to me of hitting maximum brave damage. So like some of his brave hits, you may notice while the FR gauge is active, some of the brave hits will deal rainbow numbers. So you'll get that maximum brave damage that he is able to deal as long as the FR gauge is active. So overall, what do I think about Core now? Core is so much better now, even though he didn't get too big upgrades to his auras, but like it's nice that he now provides an HP regen effect to the party. And with his FR gauge, like his FR gauge, like you can actually pair him up with a lot of characters that deal off-turn damage, like, you know, the team count that I got going on here. There's a few others you could probably pair him up with. You can pair him up with let's say Ace. Ace with his traps actually works really well, because on top of what Core's already dealing, his traps are also going to be dishing out some pretty good damage. Some other units that will deal off-turn damage, Edge with his LD ability now, especially if you do have his EX buff active, which will make the party evade all attacks by 100%. You know, Edge follows up with a follow-up attack, or like a counter attack, so that will increase the gauge by 5%. There's a few other units that does deal follow-up damage. Galoof is another one whenever he evades attacks, and there's a couple more. Ornn, which is another counter tank, he is really good. Celeste would be a good one with the counter, the ice counter that she deals, and there's many more. But no, like aside from all that, like is Core worth pulling for global players who are trying to like figure out whether or not he is worth picking up his FR weapon? I say yes, because like you can actually deal some pretty strong shenanigans while having this FR gauge active, and the fact that you are able to increase the gauge, even if it's by 5%, with a good amount of characters in the game, like that is just more damage that every other character is going to be dealing. And especially if you're going up against enemies that love to turn hog, that love to jump in the turn order, or they just love, you know, dishing out so many attacks or whatever, like having Core in your team would really help, because he attacks before they attack. So if, like, all of a sudden they gain a bunch of brave after their first attack, and then on a following turn, if it's a back-to-back turn, Core can actually jump in and be like, hey, let me help you with that. Let me help shave some of the brave that they are dealing, you know? So there's a whole bunch that you can actually do with Core. But in my opinion, like out of all the FRs that have been released so far, I have no regrets in pulling for Core's FR weapon. I feel like there is so much to be done with his FR gauge active. And also another thing that I just learned not too long ago is that he can actually increase Luna Freya's FR gauge by a tremendous amount. So that's another thing to look for, you know, for those who are thinking about pulling for Luna Freya whenever she releases in a couple months or so. So now overall though, I am very happy with what they did with Core. You know, I think that with the amount of follow-up attacks that he deals really just covers everything else that he has and what he deals, like say with his skill 1 or skill 2. I think he becomes so much better, and the fact that he still continues to be strong even on the global side just shows how good of a character, how much of a balanced character he actually is in DFFOO. So let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. And other than that, that's going to be it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to have a video talking about Gail with his changes and what he dropped in JP DFFOO tomorrow as you're watching this video. So make sure to check that out whenever I upload that. But other than that, that's going to be it. Take care, guys. I'll catch you guys in the next one.